Whoa, it's the illusion. I'm reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. It's the morning, it's Sunday. Gonna go poke around. There's supposed to be a swell coming that's kind of rad. I need some surfing in my life. So I was like, oh, what am I gonna make a video about today? And I kind of had I was blocked up, and then I was thinking about what I was doing yesterday, right? And I went and skated this curb for a little bit, little 20 minutes of red curb action. And it was in the super busy parking lot, so I kind of slowed it all down. And I was going super slow, and I was working on my front side slappies. And because I was going so slow, I kind of clicked on a different way, and I was doing these, I don't know, front truck 5.0 slappies all up in there, and it was a cool feeling, right? And I was just thinking this morning about that, and I was like, all of a sudden I was thinking back to when I used to skate FDR a lot in Philadelphia. I remember I ran into this guy and we were skating, and I would get going super fast and get this line, and they'd built this new part of the park, and I was trying to grind around 3 corners, and I would get going super fast, and I would always kind of unlock. And I remember this guy was like, maybe you need to go slower. And I was like, slower? Huh? Because I don't know, I grew up as a skateboarder. I kind of have always been under the speed's the answer. What's the question? The faster you go, the better. And I don't think I really got what that dude at FDR was telling me 15 years ago till about 5 minutes ago. About dude, just slow it down, and it does something different that's almost faster. You actually have more momentum, because I get it now. You're not battling so many planes of existence, right? When you're going super fast, grinding through corners, you're fighting centrifugal force all of a sudden. Suddenly, because you're changing the plane that you're skating on, you're coming at it, you're changing it this way, but you're also changing it on the vertical, and then you're gonna change it on the next. So you're changing three realities at once, and centrifugal force is pulling you out when you're going super fast. So it's not letting you go around the thing. And I got it. Yesterday I was going super slow doing these front side slappies, and it was able to lock me on a lot easier, and I could really set up and go a lot farther. And I see, because I wasn't being pulled by the momentum of my speed. So right, if I look at life and my story, never been a go slow kind of guy. I've always been a go fast kind of guy. I didn't like downers, I always liked uppers. And so I'm thinking about that this morning, and I'm because at the same time I was thinking about freedom and what freedom is, and just how it constantly reveals new layers, and there's new dimensions to what freedom is. You get to one level of freedom, and you realize that there's all sorts of other levels of freedom, and that, what is freedom? And then I was at this, all these things kind of accumulate, and this guy I listened to a lot, Neil Kramer, was talking about how, to really begin to get breakthroughs in this experience, even if you don't have zero attachments to anything, it takes 25, 30 years to get through the big portals of it. And the main thing you have to be is patient, right? And I was like, oh, whoa, go slow, right? Go slow through life in order to really like get some speed going. Because I think for me, like I try to get this momentum going, and ultimately like it's too fast and it blows apart, right? Like the wheels come off, the centrifugal force unlocks me. And so like last week, I think I was getting a lot of data. This morning again, I was thinking about how much data I was getting about what this experience is about, and like how like interlocking the captivity is, like, right? And I was almost like gonna have like a breakthrough. I remember being very on the precipice of like a kind of a breakthrough of perception. The next day, dude, getting my ass kicked. I don't have time to think about that anymore. I don't have time to accept any more data. I gotta just scramble to stay afloat. I just gotta keep, I gotta tread water again all of a sudden. And so here I am, like, all right, I didn't drown. Got back in the lifeboat, like we're rowing again. We're rowing in the ocean of potential again. And I'm like, oh, I was able to receive data last night. Like this weird piece of data came to me, and it was like, basically, it was this thing that was like a map of the world. And it was like, most people think they see countries, but what they actually are looking at is farms. And it was all about like how like humanity is just, all forms of government are basically livestock management tools, and that each country's its own farm with its own type of livestock management tools. And it kind of was like, I've always already known all that, but it was sort of just like, it was a very crystallized short video. And I was like, whoa, man. And I like saw it again, because it was basically this premise that like, the best way to have like healthy livestock is to give them free range, but ultimately like free range doesn't mean freedom. It's just the farmer's way of having more productive livestock. And I was like, and it was about like how all these like countries that give you freedom really aren't doing it to free you. They're just free ranging you, and ultimately you're still livestock. And I was like, whoa, man, that's some heavy stuff. And at the end, it was just like, it's about like what we talk about a lot is, the way through freedom is through yourself and through your interaction with spirituality, using your mind to discern good information from bad and do this process. And it gets me to that thing of like, okay, slow it all down, man. Slow it all down to really put your trucks on the curb and get fancy with them. And slow it down, because it's not my nature to be like slow. I don't like driving slow. I don't like skating slow. I don't like riding bikes slow. I don't like surfing slow. I like to go fast. And yet, right? That's not an efficient use of momentum sometimes. And then it gets into like, I like how like much closer like physics and spirituality are getting to the same conclusion that like God does exist. And that it's just this thing where like there's so much information, I think it has the ability to like collapse the mind. I think the mind can get totally collapsed, and the ego can come in and just take over and just start monkeying with the controls, and then next thing you know, dude, you don't have any time to discern any information, because all of a sudden you're out of control, because the monkey ego is in there just I think what really popped me through the vortex, besides a lot of things, is that Tool song, Two If by Divided, about the angels watching the monkeys be stupid, like, because they can't believe God gave them all this power and they're just using their power to fight over pieces of ground. Tool's so gnarly, dude. Like, anyway, so I'm slowing it all down to you know, what do they say, man? You know, stop and smell the roses, right? Stop and smell the flowers, man. Slow it all down. So slow it all down. Looks like there's a little bit of surf. That's great. And that's what I was thinking about this morning on my way down the mountain. It's The Illusion signing off. Hope your dream's going well. Lots of information coming in, people. Lots of information coming in.